What's up, guys? Welcome to BitCast episode 51 for the week of February 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Jake Martin, and in the studio this week, we have a BitCast newcomer. I'm going to say your last name wrong, probably. I didn't practice it beforehand. I messed up already. Tom Kutilek.
Oh, wow. Nailed it.
Was it Kutilek?
No one ever says that right.
Kutilek.
Yeah.
Okay, say it for real.
Second one you said Kutilek.
Okay, well, so how's that actually pronounced?
Yeah, Kutilek. Think of like a,
Q?
uppercase Q, lek.
So
Or
Kutilek.
cutie, or think like someone who's cutie.
Uppercase Q-lek just makes me think of like Q-lek.
True. I just totally skipped out the middle part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Kutilek.
No, think of QT, like an uppercase Q, T, and then lek at the end. Cutie lek.
Cutie.
Yeah.
Did everyone ever joke around with you when you were growing up like cutie? Hey, cutie.
Yeah, that's typical.
That's so stupid.
I know.
I got Jake Martian.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's okay.
there's a lot of ways you can make Kutilek like really gross and weird. I won't go into it, but there were some names that were like given to me in third grade that I'll never forget.
Scarred for life. So, anyways, for anyone that is a frequent listener of the podcast, you have not heard Tom before on this podcast, nor seen him now that we are doing video. So, Tom, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's an honor.
For anyone that's tuning in, we're talking about the Black Panther. Both of us have seen the movie, and we both loved it. Surprisingly, not a lot of my friends in my immediate circle have seen the Black Panther yet. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Maybe because they're all having like babies and stuff, and
that could be.
Don't have time.
I don't know. Maybe it didn't have as much hype as like other movies would have. Generally, I don't know.
It's a dang shame.
But I had on my calendar, man. I was ready.
Yeah, me too. And we'll talk about this later, but this could be one of the best Marvel movies of all time.
Yeah.
All time.
It's up there.
It's up there. So anyways, Tom, we work together at the old TFP. And, tell people a little bit about yourself, what's your background? You're a pretty outdoorsy guy. You do things outside.
Yeah.
You camp?
Yeah. We camped 2 days ago. So my wife and I, Annette, moved here 3 years ago. Started working for Times Free Press at that time. Still do. And a big reason we moved to Chattanooga was the outdoor aspects they have here. You got, world-class rock climbing, whitewater kayaking, world-class, trail running, all that stuff. So my experience with podcasts that I listen to are a lot of these weird, goofy, obscure trail running podcasts that I love to listen to while I'm running too. And I also am a big movie buff. When it comes to like games and stuff like that, not as much, but I respect everything that BitBloggist is about, and it's an honor to be on the show.
So you're a movie buff, huh? Mm-hmm. That's a bold statement.
It's really bold. I like them. I mean, when it comes to like name dropping and like deep history of movies, I'm not as good, but like current stuff, I would say I'm pretty on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for that little intro there. You said something interesting though. Camping. Every time I've gone camping, Tom, this is a little side. I never have fun.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because I value comfort over anything else. Sure. I have a little inflatable air mattress pad and like all the cool camping things you could ever want, but it's just never enough.
Sure.
Am I camping at the wrong times? Like, when's the best time to go camping?
No, you're not. Camping's not for everyone. So the older I get, the more it's difficult to get me out there. And it was Annette's idea this weekend, and I was like, okay, let's do it. I still got it in me. Because it was like before when I was younger, it was just like, this is the best thing ever. Like, take some beers out in the woods and blah, blah, blah. But no, you're not, it's not uncommon for people to be like that.
We're not old though. That's the problem.
That's the thing.
That's the problem. It's like we're not old to be complaining about being uncomfortable when we're camping.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. Well, I'm older than you.
Yeah.
I'm almost 30.
You're an old man.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm pushing 30 right now. So
I don't think
there's a big difference. When I was 26, I feel like I was more like keen on let's go. I don't need a sleeping pad. Now I'm like,
no.
Ooh.
See, that's why it's a problem for me because I recognize I am still at an age to where my body can take it, but I stay out of it because I'm just like I don't want to go through one night of being that uncomfortable when I could sleep on the memory foam mattress.
It's legit. I get it. I'm more your way now. I like to go on adventures like during the day and then come back and sleep, in a comfy bed.
Midday adventures are a better approach.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for the pro tips there, man. I really appreciate that.
I can talk forever about it.
So this is about Black Panther, though, not camping, if you were confused. Just quick bit of housekeeping. If you are a listener to the show, be sure to leave reviews on iTunes. We have one today that I'm going to be reading off that I'm very excited about, but also check us out on YouTube. We're doing some video stuff there. And be sure to just go on and submit topics every now and then if y'all want to hear us discuss anything in depth. We love to have those topics submitted. It's really fun to go through those. But the review of the week comes from Isolate Connect. Left us on a review on iTunes. Headline said, worthwhile, mostly video game podcast. If you're looking for a new video game podcast with a fresh perspective, this is a great one to give a chance. A revolving door of regular guests offer insightful opinions and highlight all the important news going on in video game culture. So, Isolate Connect, thank you so much for that quick little review. That was February 5th you left that one, so pretty recent.
That's awesome.
And I feel like it was somebody that I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it you, Tom?
It was me.
Did you do it?
It wasn't me.
You're smiling right now.
No, I just like it. It was good. It was perfect.
You may have heard me just crack that cold one. We got some more Dirty Kirks in the building. You can't tell because we have some nice koozies over them.
Guys, I have a testimonial of Dirty Kirks. First time I had it was actually with Jake, Super Bowl party, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since then. The price, you can't beat it, and it's got this like
Can't beat it.
You can't beat it, and it's got this like saison-esque like.
I don't know if that's
flavor
intentional.
to it. I don't think it is.
I don't think the saison is intentional.
I
However,
don't think it is. But
48 cans of pure gold.
how much does it cost per can? Then you break that down.
$21. We're looking at like 50 cents a beer.
Unbelievable.
Great deal. Costco, check them out, guys. Dirty Kirks.
You won't be sorry.
Yeah, Dirty Kirks, cooked and light, best beer in the world.
That's the main sponsor of BitBloggist now, right?
They are not our sponsor, but you can be if you are a person that works at Costco. Just reach out to me at BitBloggist. We'll talk later.
Perfect.
So, anyways, like I said in the beginning, we're talking about Black Panther. So, Tom and I are going to be going through everything regarding the story. So, if you have not watched the movie yet, please do leave now because I think it's better to see the movie than come back and listen to this, unless you're a person who just loves hearing people talk about movies. So, with that said, we'll be right back and stay tuned. And we're back. How was that? Was it pretty good?
That's amazing. I love that. I
It's-
don't ever get tired of hearing that.
It's it's different if you hear it on the podcast, but seeing it in person, how does it feel now?
It's a whole new experience. It's everything that I'd hoped for.
Good. I'm glad you're impressed. I'll keep doing it.
Okay.
So we have listed off a whole bunch of the actors / characters from the Black Panther first. And again, if you're tuning in and you haven't watched the movie yet, now is your last warning because we're going right into it right now. Full spoilers. So, Tom, when did you see Black Panther?
I saw it last week on Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Good night. Is that did you get the Stimulus Tuesday? Get those deals?
Yes.
Dude,
yeah.
nice. $5?
It was a nice date night. Saw it downtown.
Ours is Wednesday usually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We
Nice,
changed it
nice.
up. I don't know, but it was Tuesday. So it's pretty fresh on my mind. I had wished I'd seen it again, but I'm gonna see it pretty soon. So
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it again.
I am.
It was that good. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see it again.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking more like I'll wait till it comes out on DVD.
I don't usually pay twice to go to the movie theater, but
Sometimes you need to.
yeah, I'm gonna.
Star Wars, I did.
Yeah.
Just to see if I felt the same I did when I left the first time, which was not good.
Right. Yeah, I remember we had a conversation about it. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's start off with overall thoughts first. Just because we can frame our conversation that way.
Mhm.
So, what were your thoughts?
Man, so many thoughts, man. So many hidden meanings that I saw, and different aspects to what this movie means and what it means to Marvel in itself. Like throughout the movie, and then I kept them like nudging each other and be like, "Did you catch that? Did you catch that?" Like different things that we see, and the significance and what this means for humanity, culture, everything like that. But
Mhm.
also just the way it was done, the soundtrack leading up to the movie, I had listened to quite a bit. The way that was shot, the way, so many things. What about you?
Same thing. I had seen a couple of trailers, and I really liked. I remember when I saw the Black Panther in was it Infinity War or the previous Avengers movie or Civil War, whichever one you see
Civil
him
War.
in for a little
Yeah.
bit. I thought was really cool. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, his character is pretty dope actually. And so coming into this one, I actually had like somewhat of an expectation of it being a good movie, and with Kendrick Lamar being the person that wrote the soundtrack, I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty solid. So after actually watching it, I mean, this is a bold statement. I'm jumping ahead of myself right now,
Yeah.
but this could be one of the best Marvel movies that I've seen.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok also fantastic. Iron Man
Mm-hmm.
kind of up there in that same boat, but this one I think did a much better job of developing realistic characters and how they would behave in these situations, as well as like the symbolism and the things they're trying to say behind just a otherwise goofy action film.
Yes.
So if a director can accomplish that, that's pretty impressive.
And I kind of like too. I mean, just in general, Marvel movies, I'd kind of like jumped off the bandwagon a little while ago, but lately, especially with this movie,
You're
with
back
like
in.
with like I mean, I liked Thor. I thought it was funny. I liked the new Spider-Man. I thought it was funny. So I started being like, okay, I guess they're onto something. And then boom, this came out. So
Gotcha.
I'm back on there. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's just I think we have a weird thing happening with Disney where they have all these properties and they're just blasting them out. Which is every like kind of moviegoer's dream to have these like huge blockbuster superhero movies coming out back to back.
Mhm.
But after a while, you get kind of tired of it. You're like, I don't want to watch another one of these. But
Right.
excuse me, this one brought it back in.
That was like simultaneous. That was really bizarre.
The dirty curse. they're getting me. So let's run through the actors real quick. So Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, who is the Black Panther in this movie.
Mhm.
Great character. I don't know if you've seen any interviews with him on like talk shows, but he totally does not have an accent that I expect him to have. Like he is pretty much full blown like American.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen the interviews with him, so that surprises me.
Yeah, I mean Chadwick Boseman. I don't know what kind of name. I don't know where that hails from. The origins of that.
Right.
But
Right.
Nonetheless, I think he did a great job of portraying just like a strong leadership, and like I know a lot of themes to this movie were relying on counsel of your friends and going to people. I don't know. What'd you think about T'Challa?
Honestly, like what you just said, like the way that the movie did its research previous to releasing, I think, and I've heard this from other reviews on the movie too, but it seems like they did the research on the cultural descent of where these actual individuals even came from, like their heritage in like Africa or the different areas of the country. I mean, even the way that they portray themselves, the dialect and their voice, it seems all very professionally done, and they took their time to do it right, which is pretty cool. And obviously, I'm not an expert, but like that's how it felt.
Yeah, it sounded very believable. And speaking of believable, I watched another thing with Jimmy Kimmel.
Mm-hmm.
He went around and like interviewed people on the streets, and he was like, "What do you think we should do about the crisis in Wakanda?"
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like Wakanda does sound like a believable country, and so everyone's like, "Well, I think we should back out. Like we should leave them alone." And he even like went as far as to say like, how do you feel about people going in to steal the vibranium from Wakanda? And he was like, we shouldn't do that. It's not ours. It's theirs, And so like again, like I think the setting is actually realistic, not from a sci-fi standpoint, like not believable, but from a character standpoint, and like people that were there was like, oh, this is very reminiscent of like African cultures and stuff like that.
Even present day. Like when you think about countries like Congo, even so that's like a country where like vibranium, is that it?
Yeah, vibranium.
So like there's way other materials and elements that come from Congo that kind of like fit this storyline as well, which is kind of crazy to me. So it's like a present day reflection of like Wakanda. So
well, and they did like even with like the background to set design. I'm thinking of his sister's like lab. If you notice like all like the cool like graffiti like she had on the walls and stuff like that, and how influenced that was, and all of like their set pieces and their clothing were all kind of reflective of all that stuff. So I think all in all, just such a good job.
And the renegade tribe that was like up in the mountains,
Yeah, I love that.
They had like the Kong, like stone, like
and they
gorilla.
They believe in technology still.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were the only tribe that didn't use vibranium, right?
Yes.
But I love that, like these different subsects. It wasn't just like this one city. It was like this entire land, and there were different like tribes from them. So
that was cool.
You had Daniel Kaluuya's character, which was Wakabi. Yeah, that's Wkabi. I'm probably saying that wrong, anyways.
Yeah.
Apologies to anybody out there listening. Yep. But
it's gonna happen.
I just quick sidestep. I saw Get Out.
Yes.
Just recently.
Okay, I've seen it too.
Oh my goodness, dude, that movie! Holy crap!
Yeah, that'll leave you. That'll have you leave the movie theater just being like, what?
I don't think Hannah and I we took a breath the entire movie.
Yeah,
we were so stressed out. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
So to see him play like a bit more of a supporting role in this one, and more of a is just a kind individual, and but still like aggressive like leader.
Right.
really interesting. Like he's this guy's. I mean, and Hannah mentioned this. She's like, that guy's in, Black Panther, and like she's like, it's crazy how like I'm seeing all these Oscar nominations for these different people like showing up in different movies now.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's how it works, man.
Yeah, the scream. I mean, the actors and actresses they had in this movie was great.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o. She was in Star Wars, and she's been in a ton of other things now. So. I imagine we'll see a bunch of people like memorable names like Andy Serkis playing. I guess they just called him Claw. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love seeing Andy Serkis. He looks so weird in this movie, though.
I know he's like really ripped and looks kind of like older and like haggard,
and like a huge like neck, like just a huge fat neck,
just like veins pumping through the whole time. Yeah,
I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, he's missing his arm and he's got a vibranium, shooter,
laser pistol.
Yeah.
So moving down the list, though. Sorry, I just jumped around all these people, but Michael B. Jordan also did a fantastic job of portraying this villain in this movie, because even though you could see that like he had more evil in him than T'Challa, like he was very much a believable villain, and you sympathized with him.
He had a good reason to be.
Yeah, you're like, dude, you're right. Your life was kind of poopy, and like these guys, your people, like the Wakandan people, could have like come and helped you guys and provided aid where they needed to and stuff like that. But his dad got killed by a person from Wakanda, the Black Panther.
Yeah.
And so obviously he has a grudge.
Yeah.
I mean,
his own freaking brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, and really I think he was an interesting character, because like he was like super suave and like handsome and like pretty tough.
He's a stud.
Well. Yeah, he was a stud. Yeah. All those like scars on his like body.
For everyone he's killed. Whew. Yeah. Whew. I wouldn't want to fight that guy.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I actually didn't expect him to. Did he actually end up killing Andy Serkis?
Did he?
I don't know. I know he shot him, left him in like the junk lot, like where the cars were parked at and stuff. But I don't remember if he actually ended up killing him or not.
I can't recall either. Yeah.
He stole his plane. I know that. And made it to Wakanda without him. So
no, he killed him, because then he brought him and showed his body. He showed Claw's body.
You're right.
Yeah,
he's super dead. Yeah.
Yeah. He's dead.
He's super dead. Sorry, guys. Just forgot about that part. But I don't know. I mean, like, what'd you think of Michael B. Jordan's?
I mean, man, that whole idea of like power in this movie is like one of the topics that I thought was like one of the most interesting, because like you just touched on, like he has reason and motivation to be upset, rightfully, and he has a good reason to want to give back to people that are downtrodden in our society, especially coming from Oakland, like inner city, and seeing all that, throughout his whole life. But the way he's handling it isn't really the best, you know. Like having hundreds of marks on his body for all the people he's killed. I mean, that's inexcusable. But you can sympathize with him. And when he actually died in the movie, that left me like I was actually really sad when he died.
I was sad for him too.
Like I was thinking like maybe deep down he could have turned. Like maybe he could have turned him and like, come on, man, we're on the same side. But
they probably could have. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like because he said he's like, we can probably we can heal you, and he's like, nah, he's like, I don't want to be healed, blah blah.
Yeah.
And he just looks at the sunset and dies.
Yeah, man.
Pulls a sword out.
So that whole idea, and then also Nakia has like a similar like viewpoint as him, like because she I remember at the beginning of the movie, like they T'Challa like goes to rescue her because she's undercover, right? And she's like in a third world country that's like there's terrible stuff going on. But her whole mentality too of like trying to use the power that Wakanda has to help other people is similar to his as well. So those two have similar ideas, and then you have T'Challa, who's like more like he's been following the status quo of his ancestors and his own father who's now dead. Yeah, and and kind of realizes like, oh man, this really isn't the best way. And I'm jumping ahead. You see what happens.
No,
again,
but yeah, I love that. It's you see him. Mitigate like a healthy balance between kind of like Eric's approach and also Nakia's approach, which is like we can help people and we do need to act and sometimes fight wars for the right purpose, but only when there is like an actual evil that we're fighting against, essentially. So in this one, it really was just him fighting against. I don't know what his actual name was. I guess he was the Black Panther also when Eric took over. He was considered the Black Panther also. Yeah. Also.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Daniel Kaluuya's character, W'Kabi, I loved how he had like a reverse role, like where he came in as his friend, like you're like, oh, this is like a nice, trustworthy guy.
Right.
And he was more concerned about protecting Wakanda and doing the right things to help other people and stuff. And so his whole purpose was just to serve the strongest individual and the person who was going to be the most direct. Whereas in the past, he made that comment about his dad, who was like, you know, kind of didn't act on things, and a lot of other people were struggling because of this. And,
Right.
And so
it's an interesting role, isn't it? Like
you sympathize with him too. You're like,
yeah,
I understand. Like, it's okay that you would go this way.
Yeah. There's a very strong scene when T'Challa's like sitting at the throne, and Killmonger comes in, and you know you see Waikabi like he kind of like looks over him and he's like, are you gonna back me up here? And you can tell he's changed sides to like back up Killmonger, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, he's like giving the side eye a little bit, like,
yeah, he's like, dude, what's up? And he's just like, nope, switched my thought.
Yeah,
like,
because
you know,
you're weak,
right?
Yeah.
He's like, where's the body? Like, it's kind of intense. He's like, where's the body at? Like, you should have Claw's body, and he doesn't have it. He's like, all right,
yeah,
I'm through with you. It's like, whoa,
it's too bad.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
But you know, like again, that's what's cool about this movie is it was all very like well thought out and believable characters. Where like a lot of the times in Marvel movies, like just stupid things happen. You're like, that makes no sense.
Totally, and they're great fight scenes, but this is like sweet fight scenes with war rhinos
and political like just political statements and a bunch of like realistic characters who would make these decisions probably given the chance. So
yes,
thought that was really interesting.
Yep.
Andy Serkis, we talked about him a little bit. Just we saw him a little bit in the previous one. It was so weird seeing him, especially knowing like his past acting roles where he's like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
I love that. And he's in King Kong, and he's in Kong.
He's a great actor.
I really like him. I think his facial expressions and the way and his voices are, oh my gosh. And this one's completely different.
He's super animated.
Yeah.
Which helps for acting. I mean, really. But like, gosh, I love doing his Gollum impression. I'm like fighting myself.
I think I've heard it before.
I don't want to do it. But he did a great job, and I just liked the scenes that he was in because it was more of like the rough riding, like street scenes where you'd see him in, where he was, you know, going to the casino and stuff like that, and shooting people up.
The car chase.
And car chase, yeah. So his scenes were a bit more action packed and fun.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman, Everett Ross, the old CIA operative.
Kind of like comedic relief, but also there's some like pretty intense parts where he like decides to sit in there when he's flying that plane, you know, remotely.
That's
he's like
pretty cool.
Avatar, and he's like, man, I'm just gonna sit this one out. Might die, but I'm doing it for you guys. But it's funny, like, you know, he's probably like one of the only main characters who's white that like has, you know, a significant part in the movie. So yeah.
And even still, like his role was not so much like, I don't know. I think everything was chosen very deliberately and like
totally
appropriately, because again, and this is not going to come off probably as sentimental or like the right way, but I think just from an African American standpoint, like this movie is so great to have. It's just so great that it exists, and even better that it's like it's probably one of the best Marvel movies that we've ever had.
Yeah, man. I mean, think about this, like with how big of a blockbuster this was. Like, I was thinking, like, if I had a kid right now, which I might in the future or whatever, and I've heard this from a couple of my friends, like they're like, their kids are running around like wanting to be Halloween already because they want to be Black Panther, and that's like in itself like a very, very cool thing. Like it's always
awesome.
been, you know, your Tobey Maguire or whatever, you know, like your typical
Your
role
Spider-Man.
play. Yeah, you're and which is fine, but it's like your typical, you know, role play of a typical superhero. But this change, you know, makes it a reality, and I think it's very special.
This puts it in a spotlight where now like this is like a forefront of like Disney and like Marvel and what they want to do. So I don't know. 2017 and 2018 really have been some like rough but like also interesting times because there's a lot of stuff that's been brought to light that I don't think people were aware of, and I'm sure I wasn't even aware of for a long time, and like just like even the thought that like there were no like black superheroes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of a messed up thing.
Yeah.
They're you know, we can all like point out like the small individual ones like, oh yeah, you know, Static Shock or you know, a couple of these guys
or like the Falcon, and there's also like the from X-Men like Storm or something like that, I think.
Yeah, Storm.
Yeah,
and
little sidekick roles
Blade
though.
and
Yeah.
just a bunch of like just small roles here and there. There's never been a major forefront effort put into this, and so I mean, again, we're two white guys talking about this.
Yep.
But nonetheless, just so happy that this exists, and this is just, yeah, like you said, I know there was some controversy about that with you know, kids wanting to dress up as the Black Panther, and they're white kids, and it's like that's an interesting thing that's happening here. It's like, but if you think about it, that's been the reality on the flip side the entire time.
Exactly.
So it's
and the amount of time that's put into women power, man, in this movie. Like the lead cinematographer of the movie is a woman, and I can't. I'm terrible at names, so I can't remember their name off the top of my head. But she's also doing a really good Netflix series right now. And then like whenever you have like T'Challa, I'm kind of switching the topic. Sorry,
T'Challa.
but yeah, when you have T'Challa, like, and he surrounds himself. His dad says like it's hard to be a leader for good men, and T'Challa like surrounds himself by females throughout the whole movie, which is pretty cool to me. And they have a very powerful part in this movie too, as you can see throughout the whole movie. But
dude, the freaking I guess the Royal Guards or whatever they are, they're freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, they're those staffs.
Yeah, the spears and all kinds of stuff. Ooh.
Yeah.
When they went to the casino and they were just wrecking people, that was pretty awesome.
That was a sweet fight scene. Yeah.
I put a P here in front of outro, so it says Poutro. P outro.
Nice.
So like, what were some like just super strong moments? Like what were some of your favorite moments from the movie?
Oh man. Okay, my favorite part is when I think it's Nakia, and what's the other main female role in this? That's his
I might have not have put her name on here, and I apologize.
No, I have it somewhere. But so they're both deciding who their allegiance is to once Killmonger takes control, right? And so the one who's part of the guard, she decides to, and I'll think of her name in a second, but she decides to stay truthful to who's on the throne, which is Killmonger. Yeah. And she's like, if you don't have any kind of rules or guidelines in your life, like, what do you have? And then Nakia is like, no, I'm sticking with, T'Challa. And they have that scene is so powerful to me because they're both not wrong in who they're following, because they they both believe in certain things, but like, you'll see how it pans out throughout the movie, but at that moment, it's kind of like you kind of think about what would you. Like, I thought about like, what would I do? Like, man, like, do I follow the rules that I've been like brought up to do, or do I stick with my like heart and be like, no, actually, like, this guy's got it right.
I'm not legally, but I am called to this position, and there's no backing out of this. Like, once I swore into this, I swore into protecting the king.
Yes.
So
yes.
Pretty tough spot to be in, I feel like.
That is. No, I mean that's yeah.
Yeah. And I know, they probably couldn't foresee the end resolution, but like, that's a scary thing to be at, where it's like, okay, do I oppose this crazy guy who just took over Wakanda and I'll probably be dead in a week.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll find me somehow. So
Okoye, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okoye.
That's
Nakia.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually I'm glad you picked that one out. That was a one that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah,
probably, but it was like super interesting.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know if it was a specific moment, but I love the narrative that Eric brings up, or Michael B. Jordan's character brings up, of. It's supposed to. I think this is kind of hidden symbolism here, but like it's supposed to symbolize. Like, I think they're kind of making a commentary on America as a whole, and how they should deal with third world countries and provide effort and aid and all these kinds of stuff. Because America's always been known as the the police of the world,
sure.
essentially. Maybe in America, I don't know. That probably isn't how we're viewed everywhere else.
Yeah,
probably those idiots all the time. But
yeah,
but I think. I love this idea of this balance between like, what's the best way to go about providing this aid? Because I guarantee that's the same conversation happening like in a bunch of like UN meetings and stuff like that, where they recognize like relief efforts are needed, and so it's like, do we go and fight a war to save these individuals, or do we provide technology and relief effort and health and all and like medicine to these areas instead, to try and bring them back? So that was like that was Nakia's whole approach, like you were talking about earlier, and just like the weird line they have to step, because like, well, people don't know about us, and like we don't want to just come in and introduce all this stuff to people that have never had it in the past, and they can use it irresponsibly.
Yes. that whole topic, man, is so deep.
Yeah,
Like that,
very, very politically charged, but like really cool because it's like
very
man.
cool. That's a huge underlying theme, and especially at the end, like when I'm jumping to the end, but like I have to talk about it now because it's part of your conversation. But T'Challa decides, and his sister decided to create from that building that Killmonger's father was killed in, the projects or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's in Oakland. That's like where he decides to have his outreach program start.
Yeah, really cool.
And yeah, that's cool, and that's cool that's the way that they decide to like start approaching that topic, because there's so many different ways that people think about like outreach and like, are you doing better for the country or worse being there? Or, like, how are you approaching it? Like,
and we're gonna start small here with this operative and see what happens, and then we'll go from there. But I love how he's like, I bought that building, I bought that building, I bought that building, I bought that
and
building.
that one.
I mean, like, when those things happen, I'm like, so how did he like go to the bank and like exchange his currency from Wakanda to like American dollars?
Right.
I don't know how that works.
I love your mind goes right to that. Hang on a second. How do you purchase it?
Yeah, it's like, well, what's the Wakandan currency exchange rate?
What's the change rate on vibranium to?
It's like I want to sell this thing you've never heard of, and you're going to give me $1 billion for it. And it's like, what?
My ship flies, so
yeah, you can trust me.
Yeah. That's a good. I love that. That's a really good, main strong moment in the theme of the movie.
Well, and then I think also Eric is a kid and his dad. So the dad is from This Is Us. I don't know if you've ever watched that show or not.
I haven't.
But the dad of Eric, the king's brother, who was killed. I liked his role as well, where he was very much like, he had been on one side, he had been on the Earth side, and seen all these underserved and people who were being treated poorly and all this kind of stuff. And his perspective had changed, and he kind of stayed there. But I don't know if you noticed this or not, but like he was peddling like weapons and stuff like that. And, like he kind of hid them when he knew he like heard the Black Panther coming. He
was planning a robbery when they came, right?
Yeah. And I just I don't know. I thought that was like a very like touching moment, and like recognizing like his situation that he had been in. Even though he was Wakandan and had access to all of this stuff, he preferred to be there helping those people.
Didn't even think about that.
And even in a more dangerous and like primitive way than just going to Wakanda and bringing some stuff back to help.
So there's another character who's on the side of, hey, let's use our power to go, or just, even though he didn't even have his power, he was just doing it as a person there without the power of the magic, whatever he drinks, then turns him into unstoppable man.
Unstoppable man.
Yeah. that's actually his real name.
That's a real thing in the movie.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point. I didn't think any further into that, but it's a big decision, right? Like leaving that utopia of Wakanda to live in the projects and
help people. Yeah, sort of, depending on how you look at it.
Right. Yeah.
Planning robberies and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I love the almost Lion King-esque scenes where he would go and talk to his like ancestors and stuff.
Yes.
I thought those were like so cool.
Those totally were.
They were
Simba.
Simba. Remember, you are my son. But like it was like visually it was so cool, and I love the idea of like they're weakened and then they're put underneath the dirt and they're covered. Like,
that is cool.
Like they're being buried, and then they wake up and it's like this weird purgatory sort of thing, but not. Everyone's just kind of chilling out. But like, just love like the cool backdrop of like the tree and the like the purple pink skies and stuff. I was like, this is pretty trippy, pretty cool.
What a strong scene too when T'Challa was talking to his father about like calling him out for like, what have you been doing, man? Sitting on the sidelines the whole time. Why aren't you like using this to help people? And that's like a big, I feel like, realization moment for him, because he's had all these people throughout the movie talking about that to him, and he finally comes to realization like, okay, we actually need to do something.
One thing that someone I was talking about, if you didn't notice this, well, so when T'Challa both times that he goes to the other to see his ancestors, he does that. He can go and see his father and whoever else. But the time that Eric goes under, he just goes back to his apartment. That's it. He doesn't go see the ancestors.
And he's a kid for a while. He's like talking to his.
He doesn't go see his ancestors because and I forget how they explain this, but he was never actually like connected to Wakanda, essentially. Like he never. I don't know how they explain that exactly, but because he had kind of forced his way into that role, and he didn't I don't know. There was some way that he
disconnected.
He came
somehow.
into it that like he didn't have access to the ancestors and like their wisdom. It was just like his own life experiences that were informing him, sort of.
Yeah,
I was like, that's pretty cool.
that is really. I didn't think about that either. That's a really good point. Yeah,
Pretty nuts.
Yeah, that scene's kind of crazy. Like he's a kid talking to his dad, and then he's like, all of a sudden becomes older, and he's like crying, and like they have like a touching moment there.
Guess his dad's realized that his son is just like him in the sense that
right,
he wants to just help people at whatever cost.
Yes,
even if that means killing people.
Right. Instead of being like diplomatic and like having like a political calm to you, like T'Challa has. It's. I don't know why, but I have like whenever I think about him, I think about the way that Obama would carry himself. I'm not getting political here, but like how he was like pretty cool. He's like the opening scene before like she's like don't lose your cool or whatever, and he's like I never did, or like what's he say? He's like I never lose my cool or whatever.
Yeah, I will lose my cool, and then he gets down there. He's like,
I don't know.
Hello.
I don't know why. I just the way he like carries himself and speaks reminds me of that. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he's a proper diplomat.
Yeah.
No matter. And this is not again I don't know anything about politics, so no matter how you land though, you can't deny that Obama was a well-spoken and charming individual.
Yeah
So,
don't deny that, please.
Don't be that kind of person. Were there I'm trying to like rack my brain for this. Were there any like weak moments you can think of, or things that you like didn't think came fully fleshed out?
What'd you think of the length of the movie, and did you feel like it flowed throughout the entire process? Because I've heard some individuals, some individuals talk about like to them it was too long, but to me it was not. I thought it was perfect, and I heard from some people too that like it got staggered towards the end. So you're kind of like, okay, what minute are we at? But like I've heard that from some people, but personally I thought it was fine. What did you think about that?
Now that you like bring it up, I think we probably could have done. Maybe without like the casino chase scene, because it didn't fully teach us or tell us anything.
True.
It was just they just showed up there to.
That's a good point.
Beat people up.
And I also think that if we took that time, that free time, and instituted maybe a little bit more background on, because the fact that this movie like carries so much weight and responsibility for what it's talking about, I think it'd be cool if they opened up Wakanda a little bit more and talked about the world a little bit and showed us like those like
the beginning of Wakanda. And how that all became.
Take us into the homes of like those different places. Show us the different tribes, because like when they're on the waterfall and they have the meeting,
that
like
was cool.
You get to see like the different tribes, and like I was like, that's cool. Like I want to see some more of that.
That's all you see.
Right. It's pretty quick, and
you can tell like sort of like so like Daniel Kaluuya's character is they're more of like the range and animal tribe where they like take care of the animals and stuff, and there's the mountainous snow tribe.
Yeah.
And then there was like a few other like off-rift ones you don't really see.
Yeah. And they're so quick.
Yeah.
Like I think about it when I saw those like different tribes, if you will, or whatever. But like I started thinking about like actually like the different countries that are in Africa, and like is there like inner turmoil going on? Like is there an inner fighting going on? Like what's the status of those? Those
I mean there's
tribes?
Definitely turmoil going on. So
right, exactly. So like I want to So if you take that time and like maybe focus on that a little bit more, I think that could have been an improvement. But like I mean like I loved it, so I have a hard time finding a lot of negatives, but that to me could be one that could be improved a little bit. I would have liked
just a like the only thing I can really say is I think the length was fine. I think take away that scene, maybe the casino scene, and put more time into the very end with Eric and T'Challa, and more language between them. I think would have been kind of interesting.
Yeah, more dialogue
where they get to yell at each other, but also like kind of understand where each one's coming from, sort of, as opposed to just because I mean, really, what happened is Eric just came in, beat the crap out of him, threw him off a waterfall,
chucked him off the waterfall,
and then T'Challa came back and killed him. I mean, like,
right,
that was it.
That's a good point.
And so I think it would have been cooler to.
That's a good point.
Maybe spend more time in the city of Wakanda, where T'Challa's trying to make it into. Like kind of be like a bit more sneaky, build some suspense there.
Yeah, he just shows up all of a sudden in that field. He's like, "Yo, what's up? I'm back."
Yeah,
and
like,
and all
you thought I was dead. I'm not. Yeah, you're right. We thought you were dead, but you're not.
That scene seemed kind of choppy to me. Like it seemed like it just like popped up, and all of a sudden you're like, "Wait, hang on." There's no like build up. He just is back all of a sudden.
He's there.
Like, he's back. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
So I think just building towards him coming back into Wakanda, because that had to have been a journey. Also, I mean, like got thrown into a waterfall and
Was basically dead in a coma, like
under ice
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe like show him recovering from that a little bit. Whatever. I guess
Yeah.
that superfruit does a lot of stuff. Yeah.
his ancestors even trying to freaking get him to like basically like say call it quits. Like
Yeah.
it's time to go, buddy. You
And he's
know,
like,
and,
"No.
and he's like, nah.
I don't want to be with you guys.
Yeah.
Bunch of liars.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, other than that though, I don't think there were that many weak moments.
No, I mean like when you look at like how many actually like songs were instituted in the movie itself from that soundtrack. I mean, there's moments where I got pretty jazzed up just because I had like previously listened to it, and I've listened to a lot of Kendrick Lamar in the past too, so I was like all fired up. But like, I like the points where they played the right songs during the credits at the end. Like my favorite song was playing, so it just like left me leaving the theater like super
Pretty jazzed up.
feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from song like a sound design and song design or song choice, this movie is really interesting just because it's one of those ones. It's kind of like when Hamilton came out. I don't know if you've listened to the Hamilton soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
love it
multiple times.
But the Hamilton soundtrack was released on Spotify before I think people could really actually go see it themselves. So by the time people got to go see Hamilton, everyone knew the words.
Yes.
And they were singing along to the actual play.
That's smart.
Yeah. And that's like, it's like the only, there's a few others that are like that. I'm sure like Wicked's probably like that and a couple other ones. But like, I remember Lin-Manuel was saying that. He's like, this is a weird one because everyone in the audience knows the words and they're all singing along the entire time.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's like, that's pretty interesting. So for you to listen to Kendrick Lamar beforehand, kind of sets up your like emotions for like what scenes are going to kind of
fit in there.
What are going to happen in order of the sequence. So like usually I think the albums happen in order. So it's like this song plays and then scene happens and this song plays and scene happens. So
right. And to that note too, there's all these themes throughout the album that Kendrick Lamar made. I mean, specifically for this idea of the movie, I think it's just like, so he's a crazy poet, crazy talented, but like he talks about, you know, racial justice, identity, and the burden of we talked about this, the burden of leadership, you know, the violence that's in the movie, but the way he like splits his character throughout the album when he's like singing his different songs, he talks from different viewpoints of different characters. So he's T'Challa in one, then he's Killmonger in one, and then he's himself, Kendrick Lamar, in one, like throughout it.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was just I like to look at the verses while I'm like listening to the music because it kind of gives me a better idea of what he's talking about. But
I didn't realize he was singing from the standpoint of like T'Challa or Eric. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, because I think there's like, you know, I think we can all kind of relate to those different characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, to some point, you know, Killmonger has reason to, you know, act the way he does, besides, you know, killing tons of people.
I feel bad for this guy. Well, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
This is like the funny thing. Like when I have a friend who loves to say that Scar is innocent from The Lion King. He's like, Scar's got a bad rap, guys. He's like, look, everyone was a dick to Scar, and they outcasted him, and they threw him away into like the crappy like graveyard area, and like just pretended like he didn't exist.
Yeah.
So of course he was pissed, but like, but in this one, like I think if you put the camera on Eric and kind of followed his story from start to finish, you would almost be like rooting for him. Like if you weren't looking at it from that way, like you have this you know, self-imposed government that they think they're being righteous and how they're approaching these things, but people are dying and being left out, and his dad's been killed by the Black Panther, the king of Wakanda, and he doesn't know why.
Right.
So his entire life, he's just like, why is this? And he's getting revenge, essentially.
Yeah, he was left there as a kid.
Yeah.
He was just left there.
He's getting revenge. And so if you were like watching a movie from that standpoint, you're like, you'd be rooting for him, probably like, yeah, go kill everyone.
Yeah. That's have at it.
Yeah. It's just, it's weird. I mean, like, 'cause there's movies like that, like The Punisher's like that, and like a bunch of movies where you're
Good
like,
point.
you're rooting for a guy who is hell-bent on murdering people.
But you're like, yeah, kill him.
yeah, they're bad guys. Do it. Yeah.
They're all bad.
Yeah, they're all bad guys because you were wronged. So
Yeah, from his viewpoint, you could see, like, you know, like the king who's now deceased, T'Challa's father, like being the bad guy. Like he, you know, killed his dad and then left him there, which wasn't the right choice. So,
yeah. Interesting that he left him there. I didn't think about that as being a repercussion, but like, like why'd you just leave him there?
When T'Challa found that out from Forrest Whitaker, you know, in that part, he's just like, the look on his face is like, he's like, oh no, like he knows he's gonna get challenged now, and he's like, this guy's probably a beast, and why would you leave him there?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, my dad was a dick and an idiot.
Yep.
Great. This is the one lie that I chose to admit. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
I don't know. So back to our whole conversation topic though. So like, where does this stand in like Marvel movies for you?
Man, yeah, this is the main thing I was thinking. I mean, I left the movie theater saying to myself, like, this is the best Marvel movie that I've seen, and I've asked people since then, tell me something that are better that you'd like more. And I've heard Iron Man, and I've heard a couple others, but like maybe just because it's so fresh in my mind, because I'm like all for the idea of this one and how it pulls in a lot more real life into what it is. Because don't get me wrong, I love action scenes, I love superhero aspects, but what it meant at this time, like in our world, I think it had a big impact on me. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that's our biggest takeaway from this movie. It's not that was so dope. It was this had like a lot of really cool, meanings behind it.
Exactly.
Which is unheard of for a superhero movie.
Right. And there's probably way more that I haven't like realized yet. Like that's why I want to go see it again, because I'm like, hang on,
what else did I miss?
Yeah.
Well, like so. It's not the first time that Marvel hasn't done something sort of related to a political commentary or like just symbolism. Iron Man specifically, being a weapons dealer to these other countries and realizing that his weapons are also being used for evil to kill people and all that kind of stuff. Like that was like a small like scratch the surface kind of deal.
Yeah,
but it dealt with it
totally. And other superhero movies, I mean, even like the Batman series that came out, like those deal with some pretty heady ideas about that are deeper than just your typical Batman plot. So
well, but luckily Batman's a character you can do that with, because he is this like broken dark person who's got problems.
True.
Whereas like Superman's just this vanilla piece of crap.
I can do everything.
I hate Superman.
Right.
He is the lamest character. It's like this just sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just give this dude every single power
laser eyes
known to man.
Flight. Yeah.
And the only thing that can hurt him is a space rock.
Yeah.
So
that's very true. What about you? Where's it sit for you? I mean,
I really do think it might be my favorite Marvel movie, and especially from a standpoint of meaning and writing and just everything that it symbolizes. Because like I like some of the other movies, but not for those reasons. Like I liked Ant-Man because it was funny, and kind of cool. And I liked Civil War, and Civil War was okay, but I liked Winter Soldier a lot.
Yeah,
thought it was really good.
Yeah, me too.
Just the idea of, again, a more believable character who is broken and what that entails and kind of all the stuff they went through.
Yeah.
But this one, I think collectively as a whole, just because even in Winter Soldier and a bunch of those movies, there's a lot of weak points. There's a lot of like, that was kind of stupid that this happened, or they chose to do this route.
Right. But you didn't have that many of them in this movie.
No, everything was believable. You're like, yeah, that makes sense that would happen. You're like,
it was well thought out, man.
You look past all the crazy action hero stuff. You're like, yeah, I mean, strip that away. This is a regular movie about current American problems and everything else that we have to figure out still in the world.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly. No, it's truth.
So that's I don't know. I will be excited to see if and when they do a sequel to this, like kind of what they tackle next, because I know they will. I mean, that's and we'll see them again. But also,
what the theme will be. Yeah,
I'm also curious. I would love to see Disney/Marvel take this approach again with other movies and not make it about these like superheroes that like are infallible. Like make it about like us, and make us connect to the story that they're going through too.
Totally. Yeah,
that's the thing with Superman. Again, it's just like no one can connect to Superman. Like no one believes that this guy is actually a real human being, because he's an alien, one, and two, he's perfect.
Yeah, and I was telling you this earlier when we first walked in this evening, but so my wife's not a huge action fan, but like the fact that it had her pull of what this is about made it like a great movie for her.
Yeah.
So I mean, like even if you're not into the war rhinos and all that jazz, like
which are dope.
I love that part,
which is great.
But anyone can walk away with something that is meaningful to them. So
yeah. Sorry, just side funny note, but I love the part with the mountain tribe where he's joking with Martin Freeman, aka Bilbo, about how they eat people.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I'm just kidding, vegetarians. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
There are some like really sneaky comedic reliefs throughout the movie.
There weren't a lot, but there were
they're hidden.
A tiny few here and there.
Yeah.
Gosh, this isn't even from the movie, but from Get Out, also, this is a side tangent, but Get Out got classified as like a humor, like as a comedy or something.
Yeah.
Bull crap like that.
Dark comedy. I don't know.
There was nothing comedic about that movie.
Yeah, you're like pulling muscles in your legs the whole time because you're on edge.
Because I'm so stressed out the entire time. Like there is nothing comedic about
it's terrifying.
that movie. The only comedic part that I could recognize in that entire movie was his friend, the TSA guy.
Right.
And then
obviously. Yeah.
And the one scene where the guy at the party goes to give him he sticks his hand out to give him nucks, and the guy just like grabs his hand and gives him he does this. And I was like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie was...
You can't classify it as like comedy. Yeah.
Well, and there's more political commentary behind that as well.
Sure.
But, nothing that I can really even comment on because I don't really know anything about anything. So, I mean, the last thing I'm going to talk about is just the end credit scene.
Yeah.
There's two.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was cool just because it kind of gives us, you kind of alluded to this, but where he's talking about their direction, their choice to begin slowly helping the United Nations and countries of the world with, vibranium technology and stuff like that.
Right.
And what was the question the reporter asked? Is like, what can this vibranium stuff do?
Yeah, what's it going to do for like the world at large? And
then
like
you just see him kind of smile, and then it cuts off.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's cool. Like they literally healed Martin Freeman's character from a paralyzed spine injury.
Yeah.
So
what else could it do?
that'd be pretty gangster.
Yeah.
If we could do that.
Yes.
But then the other one, I actually left the theater early.
I did too.
Because I was like, I don't want to. I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I did too.
And I ended up watching it afterwards. So it's basically another area in Wakanda. I don't know if we saw or not, but Bucky is there from Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And he mentioned in like one of the other movies that he'd been training in Wakanda or like recovering in Wakanda essentially. Mm-hmm. And so
oh man, I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he got like a new arm from them made out of vibranium.
Okay.
And his name in the comics is White Wolf.
Okay.
And he's a person who helps the Black Panther, like in the comics. So he's like the Black Panther's sidekick.
So setting up
the White Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known that even if I would have watched it. I was like, I don't know who the White Wolf is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Bucky's in Wakanda and getting better and training up and getting cool arms.
Whoa.
Laser arms, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, my. Yeah. No, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So
I need to go back and see. That's another reason to go see it again. Yeah.
And so we'll probably that's why I said we're definitely going to get another Black Panther because of that last little cutscene.
Right.
Because that is like a Black Panther only subsect, like cut of the comic world.
You're right.
Where it's like, this is Black Panther and here's a sidekick, White Wolf. Like,
for sure. Yeah.
That won't exist. Probably like in an Avengers movie or anything else, it'll be like a side story with those two doing something.
Right.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah, and in the movie itself, there's not a lot of Marvel movies tie in other characters that are in all of the other
You'll see
superheroes.
A few others, yeah.
There's not even a ton. There wasn't a ton of that in this one, but there was I think there's like one with our Bilbo guy. The CIA agent. He has a reference to one that I caught, but I can't remember what it is right now. But that's like the only one that I saw like throughout the whole movie. There wasn't.
You don't get any reference to any other superheroes though.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, it's pretty exclusive to like this is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
like
because that would have been like a typical Marvel move though to like tie in a couple of their other characters.
Exactly, they do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
and if you notice this, I noticed this very quickly after they acquired the rights to Disney or to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You started seeing a whole bunch of like Star Wars like little nods here and there in different movies.
Yes.
Like
interesting.
Kids with like like a Luke Skywalker costume on, or like a Death Star or a spaceship or something like that.
Kind of like hidden like throughout the.
You'll see them in the background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
I see what you're doing here.
They're trying to make sure that everyone recognizes their brands they own. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, just a fantastic movie. And if I had to score it, I'm pretty generous with my scores.
Mm-hmm.
What would you? Let's go
out of 10.
Yeah, out of 10.
Well, I have to say what I said when I came out of the movie. I said it was a 9.
Yeah.
Just because to give it a 10 is I don't know, but that's what I said when it first came out, and I'm gonna see it again. I'll let you know what I think, but
I imagine it'll be as good, if not better, probably.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna hold at that. What's your number?
I'm right there with you. I think I'm at a 9. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because. Again, it's like movies that have 10s in my eyes are not superhero movies. They are like full-fledged like dramas or films.
Right.
And that's wrong to say. Like anybody can say that this movie's a 10. It's totally your opinion. But yeah, I think 9 for me is appropriate
Nice.
as well.
Good choice.
Just roll up there. Good choice.
All right.
Yeah, good choice. We're on the same page. Yeah. You can go see it and then tell me if it's a 9 or a 10, and I'll go see it again. I'll tell you if I think it's a 9 or a 10.
I'm gonna see it this week, so
You should get the Movie Pass thing where you can save money.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$10 a month, and you can see as many movies as you want.
And
to.
one movie costs like $14 or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah,
You
it's a
see it whenever
no-brainer.
you want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so unfortunately, that is the end of our podcast. Remember, BitCast is a weekly podcast that covers most things video games and pop culture. Specifically today, it was definitely pop culture and of course, just talking about Black Panther. But Tom, thank you so much for
Dude,
being on the show, sir.
it's an honor. Thank you, Jake. I think what BitBloggist is all about is amazing, and hope to be on it again and get some more Dirty Kirks.
Some Dirty Kirks. Yeah, man, you gotta start playing some more video games if you want to get on it more.
I will.
But actually, this summer and really this year is gonna be pretty movie heavy, I think. So,
Okay.
Anytime there's a movie you're passionate about, you just let me know, dog.
I'm your go-to man.
Yeah, we'll get you on there.
All right.
There's a friend I'm doing the Oscars podcast with. So yeah, a little sneak peek. We're doing the Oscars podcast on the 4th, March 4th, the day of. Beforehand with my friend Zach Flowers, and he is like a movie wizard. Like this dude just like knows everything about movies, and
Nice.
I love having him on because he can go through everything.
I'm excited for the episode then.
You can be honest if you want to. Just think about it. But you probably have to have watched all the Oscar movies, which is
Right.
hard to do.
It is hard to do that, yeah, but I plan on doing it. So
Okay, well you have I think it's like 9 or 10 or 11 movies.
yeah, I'm just calling sick. So
Yeah, I'm gonna watch all these movies real quick. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, social medias, stuff like that. You can go to BitBloggist.com to just see our recent stories. I put up a recent opinion piece about the coin op here in Chattanooga. If you guys have not been there, it is dope.
it's awesome.
The owner is Brian Hennon. He's a great guy. And I have
You
a
can
bunch
play
of-
Super Smash Brothers on the big screen.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So definitely check that place out if you're looking for a cool arcade spot in Chattanooga. Send any topics, suggestions to bitcast@bitbloggist.com, or you can go to our website and just go to the Contact Us page and submit one there. I really appreciate when people do that because it's a lot of fun for me to read them off and dive into those topics. But until next time, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk about some stuff.